All things considered, and this is going to be different possibly for each of these different schools, how important are academic grades and test scores in the big admissions picture?
If I'm leading off on that one, I have a really bad answer there, which is not much.
That's a great answer.
Well, depending on what your GPA is.
That's
Yeah,
what they
okay.
want to hear.
The reason for that is very profound at Colburn because everything is focused on training performers. And so the most important thing in that whole process is how you play your audition, what you demonstrate. You're not going to be able to play better than you actually play, but you can play your best. And that's what we want to hear. And only after that moment when the teacher says, I think this is a student I would like to teach at Colburn next year, then we say, well, let's look at the academic side, let's look at the recommendations, let's look at the resume, and let's see if we think this student is a fit. And if we then see that it's a 1.5 GPA, that's not real good, and that student is going to have a struggle, and they're not going to be able to focus as much as they could on their instrument because they're struggling so much with their academics. So we want someone who can proceed through the academic requirements, but our basis for admission is going to be first, foremost, and like 95% the audition itself because of the performance major.
I can certainly tell you that I wish that Chapman operated that way. The truth of the reality is that it doesn't. And the truth is that your grades are important because we are part of a liberal arts university. Your grades translate into dollar signs at the end of the day, too, at a university like Chapman. The higher grade that you have means that you're eligible for certain types of scholarship. Presidential being $21,000, or I think it's even more at this point. A chancellor's, which is $15,000. A dean's, which is $10,000 or $12,000. Stack on top of that your talent, then you come and audition for us. We can then stack up to $25,000 on top of that, and bingo, you've got a full ride. So my point is that no, I would rather just concentrate on your talent and who you are and where you want to be and what you want to do with your life. But the true reality is that at a university like Chapman, it is true that the grades are important to a certain extent. But as I said, don't let it completely scare you. Yeah.
I'm going to go right on.
Let me just take
Okay.
one thing. I just wanted to give a word of advice because many of you have picked a school, that's where you're going. That's where you want to go. You've looked at the requirements and you're ready to sign up and you audition. And for whatever reason, your audition doesn't go well, and you can't attend that university or conservatory, and all of a sudden you realize that you've limited yourself because you didn't take some of the courses that would get you into your second choice or your third choice of schools. So just be a bit careful of being too selective and limiting yourself. If that for some reason doesn't work out for you, then you will have no options left. Because there are requirements at different universities for GPA, and not only that, for certain classes that you have to have passed during your high school years.
Just to jump on that, if I may, just one point. Parents, breathe a sigh, let's have an exhale of relief here for a moment. You're going to be fine. Students, you're going to be okay. If you don't get into USC or to Colburn or to Chapman or there's going to be somewhere for you. There will be somewhere for you. It may not necessarily be the first choice that you're dreaming of, the Juilliards, the Curtis, the Eastmans, the whatever it is, but it probably will work out okay. And the one thing I always say to parents and to students is, especially when I have an opportunity to meet you, is that until you walk onto that campus, and I urge you to go onto the campus no matter where it is, take the expense, fly, get on the plane, drive, go do whatever you need to do. We could sell all of our schools until we're blue in the face. Until you do not walk onto the campus, you'll go, this is where I want to be. And that's when you'll know. Don't just rely, if I may, just on websites and on word of mouth and kids and the name. Listen, I have enough degrees to more than a thermometer at this point from names and all that. So trust me that it's going to be where you feel is going to be the right place. And that's exactly what I think that what we're saying here also is you'll be okay, but don't limit yourself. Very important.